Hi, everybody. It's Wednesday, and we're here to play PoliTarology. And it's me. It's just me. So I don't have anybody else that's going to be working with me. But I was a little bit worried that we weren't going to have any questions. And then here you all are putting wonderful questions in the chat. So thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Thank you for putting your questions in the chat. And I just have a couple of things that I want to do right off the bat, and then I'm going to get right to your questions. So the first thing that I want to look at is this little video of our dearly beloved vice president, who has now the reputation of being the most hated vice president ever in the history of our country. How does he do it, folks? I don't know. So I'm going to add to the screen. I'm going to show you just a few seconds of this video of JD Vance getting ready to present a trophy to, I guess this is a bunch of football players. Let me see if I can get this set up here. There we go. Okay, and I'll make this bigger. And here we go. Oh, 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 again. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I got so excited. I just, I had to, I just have to laugh. He is just so inappropriate at every level and in every situation. JD JD Vance, or should I call him Shady Vance, does not disappoint. He continually disappoints everyone around him. So I just had to show that. So he just kind of screwed that up. So another thing that I wanted to talk about was the new Prime Minister of Canada, Carney, who was at the White House. And it was a very interesting meeting. He said very clearly that Canada was not for sale and never would be. And he managed to make it through the whole conversation with Trump without doing anything that would overtly, rile Trump up. He didn't. He was not insulting him. He was being very diplomatic, and so I just wanted to throw a few cards on, what would the effect of this be on the relationship of Trump with Canada going forward? Because, Trump kept saying we're so friendly together, and that border just looks so arbitrary. Somebody just drew it with a pencil, and we should just, make Canada a part of the United States. And he kept saying, no, that'll never happen. No, never. That's not going to happen. And he wasn't really saying it like in your face kind of way. He was just kind of saying it not under his breath. He said it loud enough that it got picked up. So I just thought it was very, very interesting. This guy's very smooth, Mr. Carney. And he's not really a dyed-in-the-wool politician. He's more of a financial businessman. And he's very smart, I think. I think he handled things really, really well. So what does this mean for the relationship of the U.S. and Canada going forward? That's what I want to see. So I'll just give it another shuffle here, and then we'll throw some cards out. Hmm. Well, they are definitely keeping their cards very close to their vest. They are not letting anything out of the bag. They don't want to, like I said, overtly show Trump how they're feeling. They're feeling very insulted. They really don't like this guy saying this stuff out loud and proud. It's just really bad. But the Wheel of Fortune is going to change everything. So things are going to kind of spin around here any moment. And I think then probably definitely Canada is going to have some choices to make. But I think the United States will also have some choices to make. And as I'm looking at these cards, I'm getting the feeling that this is not just about the actual relationship with Canada and the US. It's more about the fate of the US, what is going to be happening in the next few weeks within the US. For Canada, what I'm getting is it's going to be pretty sunny. So something I think is going to roll back some of those tariff things for Canada. It seemed pretty bad in the past for them because it really riled them up. The whole country was very riled up that Trump would say, "Oh, we're just going to take you over." And at first, they made a few comments. Oh, well, we could take on, Washington, Oregon, and California as another province in Canada. That would make sense. But that kind of fell away, and they're not saying that so much anymore. And I don't know why. But when things change, when this event or events or news or announcement or whatever is going to be happening in May happens, things start changing very quickly. We get the 8 of Wands. So things will be changing very, very quickly. And we'll have maybe a couple of weeks of just rapid fire change, or maybe only a week. And then we get the Hanged Man. So then things just kind of like grind to a halt. Very weird cards. Very weird. Canada just wants things to go back to the way they were. They get the 6 of Swords. They just don't want things to be the way they are now. They're just like, we don't want to live in the upside down. We want to live in the normal world. And really, for the way things are going for everybody else concerning the tariffs, Canada has it pretty good. They get the 9 of Pentacles, and it's, they're not going to suffer nearly as much as some other countries may suffer. It's going to change things. Things are going to change. That's why the Wheel of Fortune is showing to be spinning around. And then with all these other things happening, we have a big transformation on our hands for the relationship between these two countries, a big transformation. And the card that comes out at the end is the King of Wands. Now, the King of Wands could be almost any of the world leaders. If I were really doing a specific reading on people, I would say it would need to be somebody who's a fire sign, and I don't know what, whoops. Oh, sorry. I was trying to get it off the screen. Sorry about that. I don't know if Carney is a fire sign or not. I don't remember what his sign is, but it's things for Canada and the US are going to change dramatically, and I feel like they're going to change soon, very, very dramatically. I think it's going to change for the world. Something's going to happen that really just makes it go kablooey, and there's big changes going on there. Okay. Now, the other thing that I wanted to, well, you know what? I was hoping that, let me just look at the questions in the chat. Let me just do that. Okay, so let me go to the start questions. Okay, let's read this one. Hello, Colleen. We're so stretched and in despair at my work. We are losing highly educated and dedicated people every day. Will there be any end to the carnage of DOGE anytime soon? Thank you. And I'm just going to hide your question just because it just takes up a lot of the screen and I want to be able to show the cards. But so we're going to look at that. Okay. So let me see. I think I want to do this deck. So will the carnage of DOGE end soon? Ooh. Okay. So this hinges on the relationship between Dumpy and Fleon. I'll call him Fleon like Libby does. The relationship, they think, is still tight. They still are pretending, at least outwardly, to have respect and love for one another. But in actuality, this relationship is going to bite the dust. Something's going to happen where, and I think it's Fleon who's going to get really, really taken down, actually. I know that they're saying, yes, he's leaving, to go back and work on Tesla, but he's still going to have an active presence in DOGE, and that's BS. I do not think that he's going to be able to have an active presence in DOGE because nobody wants him there. Least of all, like Susie Wiles, and she's the one who said, oh yeah, I talk to him every day. I'm going to continue to talk to him every day, and he's going to be, have his hands in everything. No, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's what Dumpy wants. We also get the Fool at the bottom. So, they may be sending Fleon out the door with, yeah, we'll take care of everything. You just check in with us every once in a while. But I think very soon nobody's taken the phone calls. I think very soon he sees the writing on the wall. And when he gets to Tesla, I mean, he may be sitting in a Zoom room. He might not actually be physically at Tesla. But when he reconnects and really takes a look at everything at Tesla, it's a shambles. And they're really mad at him. They do not want him doing anything at Tesla. I mean, the board has practically kicked him off. Now, he may still retain Tesla shares, but he's not going to be, they're not going to allow him to be a controlling member of the board or the CEO. They're not going to let him continue to do that. They're definitely going to replace him. I mean, they've been looking for a replacement. It just hasn't been announced yet. So, Tesla is definitely going to just kick him out. And when all of this happens, it's not that he's going to lose everything. He's too rich for that. He's still going to have shekels in his pocket rattling around, but he's not going to be the big kingpin that he thought he was, and it's going to take him down a peg. And that's going to be rough for him. Interestingly, we also get the Eight of Wands in the same position in this reading. So this tells me that this is coincidental with the stuff that's happening from the other reading, where the relationship of Canada is really changing, yada, yada. So big stuff. May, I think, is big, big, big stuff. And then we get the Two of Wands followed by the Two of Swords. So there's lots of choices. There's lots of crossroads. There's lots of, what do they say? People to meet, things to do, people to meet, people to see. I mean, ultimately, he does, the relationship really is bad for Fleon. Dumpy kind of gets what he wants. Then one has to ask the question, is Dumpy aware of the real world? Does he know what is happening in the real world? Or are they just protecting him? Is Stephen Miller specifically just protecting him and keeping everybody away from him and just whispering in his ear what he wants him to know and what he wants him to act on? That's what I think is happening. I think Stephen Miller is the puppet master right now. In the end, I think for your situation, Laura H, sorry. For your situation, yeah, I think this will be the beginning of the end of the carnage. And they might not, big balls might still be there, but I think it will be the end of them getting directives from Fleon, getting directives from anybody that really has a clue about what's going on in the whatever the systems are there. I think, and the courts have said that all those people have to come back. They were not let go. Just like the people who were deported, there was no due process. And not that, you need due process in your job to be let go, but in most places you do get a review, and In some states, it's like, you can just let somebody go without a reason. But in most places, you do have to have like documentation if you're firing them for cause. And they have stated that they are firing them for cause, that they are saying, oh, performances were not up to snuff, yada, yada. And that's not true. So the courts are basically saying, these people all have to come back. In the meantime, I think a lot of people who are very skilled and highly educated who were let go, they're probably finding jobs elsewhere, which is going to be tough because to go to replace them and try to get those people back, I don't know if you can really get them back. But that does provide opportunity for other people who have a great background and who are also looking for jobs. Because let's face it, right now in the country, there are probably close to a million people looking for work because of DOGE. So I do think it's going to get better fairly soon. I still think that the summer is going to be rough because even though they get rid of Fleon, the damage has been done and the damage has to be corrected. And that's going to take some time. But May is a big month. There is some big stuff going on. And these things are going to have big impacts on all of us. So don't lose hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Fleon is not going to be around forever. He is going to be ousted. And even if he's not ousted outright in May, big things are changing for him and his relationship with Dumpy right during the month of May. So it's going to change everything appreciably. Okay, so let's go on. Let's see. What's this one? Oh, what was that? Oh, I erased it. I'm sorry. Can you put that back up, Cleo? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just blew up the cracker. Okay, so Norm had this. Hi, Colleen. What's happening with another fighter jet into the Red Sea? Another was shot at by our warship, and on and on and on. Well, I could read on that, but I have heard some other readers read on it, and I agree with them. There's some dirty business going on. This is related to Hegseth and Waltz sharing information that they shouldn't have been sharing. And so this tells us that the reason that they were sharing was basically to sabotage what's going on there, to sabotage our side. So that sucks. And that's even more reason for them to be charged with treason. So that's what that is. It's unfortunately it's very bad. It's a very bad situation there. All right. Heard from other readers about the 3 days of darkness and a military operation to detain Trump and his cohorts. Do you see any of this happening? And if so, do you see it happening soon? The 3 days of darkness. I have avoided reading on this. I'm doing my pendulum. I don't think it is actual darkness. I don't think that's what we're going to have. I think we might have a scenario where for a day, maybe a little more than a day, maybe a couple days, maybe just one day, we have a kind of blackout, maybe no internet or something like that. But I don't think it's 3 days of darkness. For one thing, there's no eclipses coming. That's what would cause days of darkness. It's a really long eclipse, right? And usually eclipses at the most that you would have is maybe a couple of hours, but you wouldn't have a whole day. And we don't have any eclipses coming. They're over until September. So I don't think it'll be 3 days of actual darkness. I think there might be something having to do with our energy grid or our internet, something like that is cut off from us. We could have something like that. Now, as far as a military operation detaining Trump, Yeah. I don't know. I hope that it's happening in May. I'm very emotional about this. It's really hard for me to read on it because I just want it. I want it to happen. I just want Dumpy to be locked up, separated, captured, isolated. I just want him put away. And then I think about it and I think, not only for our safety and our benefit, but also because this man is very, very sick. This man needs to just be in a therapeutic setting that can also serve as a prison for him. He is not well. He needs therapy, he needs medication, he needs all of his other health issues to be addressed. He needs a big old medical intervention, and he's not going to get it while he's sitting in the Oval. But the military thing, yeah, let's read on that. I think I've read on that before. Wow. So here's what I get. I get the Hermit crossed by the Five of Swords. So to me, this tells me that it goes along exactly with what I just said, that there is a military intervention which will isolate him, capture him, protect him, put him in some sort of confined space. And the card at the bottom is the Queen of Pentacles, which literally is Melania. She is a Taurus, which would be a pentacle. She does think of herself as the queen, but I don't know where she is, and I don't have any idea why she would at that point be so close, unless they've decided that just to be safe, they need to contain her as well, just to be safe, because they don't know what is going on with her. Oh, she's his handler. Oh, that's why they have to do that. Okay. So they have to contain Melaniuska because she is, I think, for entertainment purposes only, folks, that she's the handler for Krasnov. She always has been. Well, no, that's not true. Not always. Ivana was for a while. So there we go. Marla was nothing. But that explains why Ivana was always kind of in the orbit of Donald and Marla while they were married, because she as handler still needed to handle. Okay, and then it was passed over to Melania, who was completely groomed for that position. All right, so in the past here we have the Seven of Swords, which represents what? Can we say it all together? The steel. Yes, Seven of Swords represents the steel, and that is in the past. And that was the big tip-off that they had to do something legal and military to contain this guy. King of Pentacles is on the top. This is, I think, Musk putting his little fingers in the pie. Once everything starts going south for Musk, I think he's going to be standing on the sidelines and saying, ooh, I know things. I could talk. I know things. I know things. Don't put me in jail. You know what? They're going to listen to all the things that he says. He's still going to go to jail. All right. In the future, we have the star. Obviously, the whole country is just going to go, oh, thank God. when this happens. But it's not going to be smooth sailing. Let's keep this in mind. When you make a big, huge push like that, there's going to be pushback. And even though the majority of the country really wants this to happen, there will be parties who push back. They still have peanut butter boys and oath creepers out there and all those other little stupid militia groups. And they're not going to go quietly. They're going to be like, whoa, no, those, even though it's going to get them in jail again. I mean, nobody gave these guys scholarships to Yale. You know what I mean? Like nobody's saying they're the brightest bulbs in the pack. Now, yeah, the action is going to be a little scary for everybody to take, but once they take that action, I think everybody is like, yes, yes, behind it. And then still some scary times, like I said. What we know around this is that this card will cease to represent Russia and will represent us taking care of ourselves. It will represent the divine feminine coming in and scooping everybody up and saying, it's going to be okay. And then we have another card for it's going to be okay in the hopes, which is the 9 of Pentacles, that we feel, oh, finally we can get back to taking care of ourselves in the way that we know how and making amends and repairing this damage. And it's going to cost a lot of money, but we're going to do it. But we're a long ways off from doing that, folks. First, we got to get that little orange, what is he? A varmint? A rodent? We got to get him out of the White House. And in the final card is the 4 of Coins, which interestingly I think is very appropriate because we will all feel like we have been shaken down so badly by this man that everybody just wants to hang on tight to everything that they have. The last vestige of their 401k, the last 25 cents in their savings account, the last can of beans in the cupboard. Did you hear that thing about the beans? They're recalling all these canned beans. Yeah, no inspectors anymore, so be careful. I don't Google it if you eat a lot of canned beans because they are recalling a whole bunch of them and people have already gotten sick from them. But all the little things that we still have, even after this nightmare has been going on, everybody's just going to want to hang on for dear life and not let anybody take anything. But I think that we will help one another. I think that we will, reach out in our community and to our friends and I don't think anybody's going to leave anybody by the side of the road. All right. So let's see. Do you foresee RFK Jr. being ousted before the next election? How protected are we from the bird flu? Okay, the second half of that question, the answer is we are not. There are no inspectors. The farmers and agriculture people are just on their own, and it's the honor system basically. So there's no protection there. So you do have to be very, very careful. You have to, wash your vegetables really well, especially like lettuces and things like that. You have to be careful. Hopefully the grocery store chains are doing something so that they're not selling eggs that would possibly be contaminated with bird flu or something. But there's other things. It isn't just bird flu. There's other things you can get from the things we eat. So you do have to be careful. Personally, I think everybody would be really, really wise to eat vegetarian for a while and forego the animal products. Honestly, I eat eggs, so I will still probably eat eggs because so far my grocery stores have had eggs that are okay. And actually the price has come way down for the eggs around here. Don't know why. It's New Jersey. I don't know why. But let's read on JFK, and I'm going to switch the deck. I'm going to get one of these scary decks because he's a scary dude. Even his voice is scary. If he can't make it as this whatever the hell he is for Trump, maybe he could just go into horror films or something. See, he has kind of a scary look. He has a scary voice. He has scary ideas. I think he'd do well in horror flicks. Okay, so what's going to happen with RFK Jr.? What's going to happen? Okay. Interesting also. We get first card up, Wheel of Fortune. We had that first card up with our first reading, Wheel of Fortune. Interesting. And it's crossed by Strength. So as he goes down, as the Wheel of Fortune turns for him and he goes down, he will rally in an unexpected way, I think, because he will rally on the basis of things that people do agree with for him, because there's so much that we don't agree with that he's just so wackadoodle on. But somehow he's going to put out to the public something that makes him seem almost redeemable. I don't think he is redeemed, though. The next card that I get for him is the Prince of Knives, which is the Page of Swords. So, he's crying into the wind. It's not going to be pretty for him. And it's not going to be well thought out. Whatever he does with his strength is not quite going to work. It's going to seem like it's going to work, but it's not going to work. And, for him in the past, he has the Three of Pentacles. He really thought that he worked this out. He really thought that his plans were sound and he was going to overcome all this negative public image, but he just can't. Five of Scepters, Five of Wands crowns him. So there's a lot of pushback on him. There's just a lot of people saying, no, everybody hates your ideas. This is just terrible. You've ruined everything. No inspectors and blah, blah. We need help. We don't want what you've got. He gets the Tower. So, things are going to go. Maybe he'll have a health event. He's got the Wheel of Fortune and the Tower. So maybe he himself will get sick, which would be highly ironic in a kind of cosmic way. What is he afraid of? He's afraid of losing everything that he has. He's afraid of losing his privileged position in life. That's what he's really afraid of. Other people around him see that, he can't make up his mind. He had these very extreme views. Then he comes in as the secretary and he starts making what seem like some kind of normal pronouncements. And then he kind of backslides and goes back into some wackadoodle ones. So he just can't really make up his mind with this. He doesn't know what to do. His hopes are that all of his secrets don't come out. This is the High Priestess in this deck. So if the secrets come out, he's screwed and he knows it. And the end result is the Seven of Skulls, which is the card for waiting for your crops to mature, waiting for your ship to come in, and God only knows what else he's waiting for, but he's going to be out. So yes, he's going to be out before the next election. And we're not very protected from any of those things that you mentioned in your question, like bird flu or anything. We're not. Okay, so let's do the next one. Okay, so how will June 14th go? Oh, I don't know. Let's do a little reading on that. What deck do I want to use for that? Oh, here we go. La 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 la. June 14th. Oh, you know what I should use? No, not the Pulp Tarot. I'm going to use the zombie deck. Because there is a couple of cards in there that I think would be really apropos for this situation. Okay, so how will June 14th go? There are many protests planned to offset the orange one's attention grab. This is where he wants to have a big military parade and say that it's for his birthday, when I believe it is some big anniversary of the military itself.
I'm just going to butt in here for a minute. We've got as many questions as we can handle, so no more questions. But just wanted to let everybody know that.
Thank you. I was pretty, before I threw these cards out, I was pretty sure that it was just not going to happen. So I think that I think it's not going to happen, but I think that Dumpy has a dream and a big illusion about what is going to happen. I think that people have been talking to him and making him believe that it's just going to be this beautiful thing to celebrate him. And so either nothing's going to happen, or they're going to do the military thing, the military celebration some other place, like move it down to, I don't know, some military base instead of in Washington, D.C. Because what I get is I get the Lovers crossed by the Four of Wands. So they're going to take, the Lovers are going to take this to a different location. That's what I get from this. And I'm thinking that they want it to be protected and for them. And something I think between now and June 14th is going to cause Dumpy to not be able to have it. For one thing, if they try to drive tanks down the roads of Washington, D.C., all the roads are going to crack and bust up because those tanks are too heavy for the roadways. So that's one reason not to do it. And that's another reason to do it with the big heavy equipment at a military base where they are, they can handle it. What's at the base here is the King of Pentacles again. So this may or may not be Elon. Looks a lot like him, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks like Elon. So something, I think that Elon or Fleon is telling the dumpster that he can pay for things, he can pay to have the roads shored up, and just crazy stuff. He's not going to be able to do anything, and at this point I don't think Dumpy even wants to talk to him. So him saying all this stuff is just more annoying than anything else. I mean, there was a lot of planning that went into the original celebration, and Dumpy's just trying to appropriate the whole thing, which is really disappointing for the military people. But there are some very, very intellectual minds pointing on this and trying to figure out a way to come up with maybe a compromise, or a way to do both, or a way to do one but not the other. I don't know. They're trying really hard. They're trying really hard not to have him just completely blow a gasket, but to also have the real celebration, which is to celebrate our military. We have the Queen of Pentacles here. It's going to cost a lot of money. And although we want to protect our troops, we don't want to spend the whole military budget on this stupid parade. What's going on here is that it's just an awful lot of work. It's an awful lot to accomplish. Somebody is going to be able to put together something, but it's not going to be exactly what he wants. And so, of course, he's going to be delusional about it. Let's face it, no matter what they do, he's still going to say, oh, yeah, it was a beautiful parade. It was the best parade in the whole world. It's the best parade in the history of the world. It's just the best parade ever. And it was all about me. No matter what, he's just going to say that it's all about him. And the final card that I get is the 10 of Cups. Now, you can read the 10 of Cups a couple of different ways, right? Well, first of all, it's Barbie. So I guess we can buy that Barbie by June 14th. Still not out of line, because, okay, never mind. But the 10 of Cups usually would be like, oh, happy. Everybody's really, really happy. But also, just look at this picture. They're the happy family. So our family, our country as a family is very happy with the outcome. I can get behind that. I like that. So, and maybe by that time somebody will have adjusted his medication and they can just make him happy that day with an adjustment, So that's what I'm going to say. Okay. All right. Let's go on to the next question. Thank you, Laura. That's very sweet. All right. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. So what do we have here? Yeah, the felony evidence had something to do with India and Pakistan war. I don't, but let me throw a few cards on it. I don't feel that, but I do feel like it is a part of this bigger picture of these authoritarian countries just trying to throw their weight around and take over. And not all of them have that much oomph to throw around. Like Hungary, for instance, doesn't have that much oomph to throw around. I think a few weeks ago I had said that Hungary wanted to go into Ukraine and use 300,000 soldiers to be peacekeeping troops. And come to find out, I don't think Hungary even has that. So sorry, I was misinformed. Okay. Okay. So I think that the India-Pakistan thing is more about the guy who's running India. And I think he is a member of BRICS, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think, yeah, what I said before, I think it's more of the authoritarians just trying to throw their weight around. And, India has an interesting government. It isn't quite authoritarianism, but it is very, very close. And so they do have elections and stuff, but I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of India, but there's a huge gap in wealth there as well. Between the haves and the have-nots. Big thing. We end this reading with the Wheel of Fortune, so we just don't know how it's going to play out, if it's going to even have any real big effect. But there is a long history of India and Pakistan having troubles between them. So I don't think that this would benefit Dumpy. So I could be wrong. I mean, I could be really, really wrong, but I didn't get any kind of no bells went off for me about that. Okay. So we have last week I asked about John Fetterman. So here's the thing with John Fetterman. What I thought at the time, that he was really, turning his votes around, turning himself around, and almost turning into a Trump supporter, right? He had been threatened. His family had been threatened really, really bad. But in the meantime, I don't know if this particular series of threats put him over the edge, but his mental health has really taken a beating. And his staff is trying very, very hard to help him. And he is so bad, he doesn't even want the help. So he's just kind of headed for a breakdown of some kind. I mean, and wouldn't be that unusual after what he's just been through. I mean, think of all the stress that he's been through, and having that, was it a heart attack, I think, that he had when he was campaigning, and then came back from that and seemed to have really conquered everything. But you don't come back from something like that easily, and it changes you. What do you want to say, Cleo?
He had a stroke.
Oh, he did have a stroke. Yeah. Oh, that really changes you. So I think that this is just a follow on from the debilitation of the stroke. And it's going to be a tough row to hoe. Unfortunately, it's not going to be good for him. Okay. So what's next? Oh, this is a good message. Thank you, Acadian Proud. That's very, very good. Good message. And I'm going to read it just to reemphasize it in case everybody else didn't read it. If you feel you can, keep sending love and calming strength and positive white light to the guides and angels to use for good of the world, especially needed right now. And I would say, send all of that stuff, the love, the calm, the strength, and positive white light, to everybody around you and everybody that you love, and to yourself and to our leaders, even to the bad leaders. I would send it to everybody that you can think of, because the world needs it now. And all of this helps the world raise up. And that's what we really need. Thank you, Acadian Proud. It's a beautiful message. Okay, well, FIFA remove this. I don't know anything about FIFA. Wait a minute. Where did I miss that? Okay. I don't know. Let me see what the pendulum says. Now, I can't hold the pendulum up here and do the thing. I just can't. So I'm going to hold it like here. Oh, okay. Maybe. Cleo, can you take the message down, and then maybe they can see the pendulum? Okay. So is Felon 45 going to continue to try to get Greenland? Yep. I'm going to try. And can you stop for a second? Okay, stop. Will he actually use United States military in Greenland? It's saying yes, but it's way smaller than the other one. What my feeling is that he wants to, and I believe we already have troops in Greenland. But when it comes to him actually trying to give an order and say, charge, go grab Greenland, I think the military is going to be like, what? Why? They're a part of the Denmark kingdom. So why would we do this? So I don't think they would do it. I think that's going to be a big conundrum for the military. Military people and military leaders are going to have a lot of they're going to have a lot of moral crises in the next 60, 90 days. I mean, it's just going to be so horrible for them to constantly be saying, okay, wait, do I do what I'm told, or do I have to stop and think about, is this against the Constitution or not? I mean, I think they're all walking around with little pocket constitutions, making sure that they don't break any of those laws. Or the Constitution is not really a law. Maybe it is. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, they don't want to go against the Constitution. How will we be feeling by Christmas and New Year's? Well, let's see, shall we? And Dogwalker, by we, you mean just you and me, or do you mean the whole collective? I'm kidding. I'm going to do it for the whole collective. Okay. It's very, very hopeful, Dog Walker. Very hopeful. It starts out, we have the Tower crossed by the Two of Wands. So we will feel like we have been through something. Not a war, not anything you could probably put your finger on, or maybe not even anything that you could point to in our history and identify. But I think you will be able to identify it if you look at the history of other countries in the world. Not pretty. So we will know that we have been through a transformative process that was incredible upheaval. I don't feel like it's going to be super violent or anything. I do feel like it's going to be traumatic, but not violent. And what's at the base of this is the Fool. This starts us out. This ends a journey for us and starts a new journey. This ends the bubble of illusion that we have all had where, oh, America's the best country in the world and we're a democracy and we go all around the world. We help all these other countries be democracies. Yeah, we've got a dark side too. And we've got, some big old shadows and skeletons in the closet. We're not angels, right? But we all came here to go through this experience together, and experience it we will. And we will all grow from it and learn from it, and we will come out stronger the other side. In the past, we will have learned so many secrets, and a lot of them we just wish we didn't have to know. But we will know them. We will know a lot of secrets. What crowns us is the Prince of Wands, which is like the Page of Wands. So maybe not just secrets, but announcements right around between Thanksgiving to New Year's, announcements coming out about a lot of different things. And the rebuild and putting it back together is a lot of work. 10 of Wands, a lot of work. But we will gladly join together and do that work because we want to. What are we afraid of? We're afraid that it's just the end of the world. That's the end of our country. That's just a fear. Please don't give in to fears. Fears are thoughts, and thoughts can be changed. And you can change them by practicing positive visualization, positive thinking, reworking your intentions when you do meditations. There's all sorts of things that you can do to rewire your brain to put things in a positive light. Look up Louise Hay on YouTube. She'll help you with that. The rest of the world thinks it's a little bit, like, okay, America, you've gone through some things now. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Face the truth. Face the truth. Don't brag about it. Face it. Because I think there's going to be a lot of the idea around the world is going to be like, oh yeah, America acts like they're the first country that ever experienced an actual coup. Like, there's a lot of countries that have experienced coups, and nobody goes with 60-minute camera crews to go interview the people who have been, trodden, who have been, trampled in the coup. They interview the leaders, right? The moronic leaders who do tumble down and lose their place fairly soon, because autocracies and dictatorships and tyrannies, they just can't last. So the world, they will help us and they will love us, but they also will not tolerate us feeling sorry for ourselves at all. It's going to be a little scary for us. It's going to be a little scary. 9 of Swords. It's going to be some sleepless nights. There's going to be a lot of people who are just thinking, oh gosh, what's going to happen? But that's leading up to that period of time. And the final outcome card for that period of time, and I'm talking between Thanksgiving and New Year's of 2025, is the Star. There's a great deal of hope, a great deal of love. So we will make it. And we will make it, I think, this year. We will be okay. Don't give in to fear. A fear is a thought, and a thought can be changed. You got to work on it just a little bit. But it's not like hiking up a mountain. It's not physical work. It's just mental work. Okay. Okay. I like that. That was good. Okay. What else we got here? Thank you for that question.
I just wanted to add, Colleen, that when I saw this question, the first thing that came to my mind was happy. We will be feeling happy by this time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. See you in a bit.
Agreed. Totally. Okay. Can they seize his shares when he's removed? I think you're talking about Fleon. Depends. I don't think it's as easy for them to seize his shares unless they're seizing them as assets that he needs to repay, use to repay for things. Then maybe they could see, they could seize his shares, but that would have to go through a whole court case. And so the seizing of the shares probably wouldn't happen until like 2026, 2027. But I do see that they will take back things like Starlink and probably SpaceX. And I know he just got that big contract with the government to for SpaceX to do explorations to the moon and Mars. And you know what? He's not going to be the owner of SpaceX when they finally land. That's going to be the U.S. government owning that. So there we go with that. Okay, Indian, Pakistani. That India and Pakistan, like I said, they have been fighting back and forth for many, 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 many years. I mean, Pakistan was a part of India at one point for a good part of their history. So I don't think it'll escalate to another Ukraine. I really don't. Okay, we talked about the aircraft carriers and the jets falling into the sea. It's a dirty deal. What's this? Cheese done flew off his cracker. We got that one. Would they ground all the flights so people can't escape? I don't know. I'm not quite sure what that refers to. The charter school. Yeah, I don't know what you're referring to. When, and I don't get what's going on with that. Okay, let's look at this one. We got an email at my charter school in Indiana today about the CDC declaring the measles outbreak a public health concern and quarantine rules for the unvaccinated if exposed. It surprised me. Yeah, that is surprising. But the closing of the CDC, I think, was one of those things that came under a court mandate to put everybody back. So they did put everybody back. That's good news. That's really good to know. And a measles outbreak is a public health concern, and people should quarantine, especially for those who are unvaccinated, and also people who have never had it. if they're unvaccinated. That's especially dangerous because you could be unvaccinated, but if you had it, then you'd probably be okay. So, yeah, that's really good news. That means that the courts are working. Okay. When dumping goes down, doesn't the whole administration? Yeah, I think they do. I think they do. But now that happened, okay, so imagine that scenario. They all go out there, they all get put away or isolated or arrested or, deported to El Salvador. That would be sweet justice, wouldn't it? And then bring all the other guys back. But then how do they make the government function? They have to have a plan for that. And I'm sure they do. I'm sure the guys that are planning this have thought about all of these things. So you got to have people waiting in the wings that can just rush in and start taking things over. And that whole scenario is the reason that it's going to be military, because the military can plan this down to the person, the molecule, the pencil, the minute, the hour. They can plan the whole thing like clockwork. And so they would have people just standing by ready to go in and help. And that is also the reason that for some of these things, we might need help from other countries. We might very well need help from NATO or the EU or some other organization from Mexico, from Canada, from South America, who knows, but we would need help and we would get help. Okay. So what else do we have here? Don't give in to fear. Thank you, Norm. Raise the vibration in the world. Yeah, so Norm says, don't give in to fear. Yay. I really applaud that. And this next one too, took me off there. Raise the vibration. Hello. Thank you. Raise the vibration of the world, one loving action at a time. Oh, yeah, I agree. But, follow that one loving action with 5 more. They're free. Doesn't hurt you. Do a whole bunch. All right. So what else do we have here? That is all of our starred things. We got through all the stars. Yay. Okay.
Yeah. We're done with all those questions. And yeah. And you're an hour and 3 minutes into this. So do what you want to do.
Okay. I just want to say, good. We're good. By Christmas, we're all going to be hopeful and knowing that there's a bright future ahead. So what could be better than that? Nothing better than that. And thank you for everybody here. 313 in the chat. That's amazing. There's probably twice that many watching. And I'm just thrilled that you guys all came on. I know this was kind of late notice. I had planned it last weekend, but my week and last week has been so busy. I just didn't even have a second to sit down and do even scheduling it in StreamYard. It was just too busy. We are going to be doing a show. What is today? Wednesday. We're going to be doing a show Friday, I think. Let me just pull up my calendar. Let's see. I don't want to turn on my video again, so let me get rid of that tab. Don't want to blast everybody's eardrums. Okay, so Friday we have the Cool Crone Oracle, and we're going to be, what are we talking about? Cool Crone, yeah, careers. The keyword and the theme is careers. So if you have any questions about jobs and careers, even money would go along with that, please come and watch that show and put a question in the chat. And we're going to use the fickle finger of fate to choose everybody. My oldest daughter is in the process of moving back into my home. And so this weekend, I will not be doing a PoliTarology on Sunday. But next Wednesday, we'll be doing a Reveal the Future. I haven't decided on the theme yet. So if you send me your thoughts, I will pick them up and I will do the meditation about something that you want. Or you could just post on my announcement for the Reveal the Future. You could just post a question there or post a theme there and I would look at it. Now, Friday the 16th, we're supposed to be doing another episode of The Other Side of the Coin. I believe that's going to be on Gerald Tarot Stash channel. I don't know what the prognosis for Mel is. He is having his surgery today, and I'm sure you've all been sending him white light and healing. I have all day, and I'm hoping to hear that he's just came through with flying colors. So I don't know though if he'll be. He's going to want to do the show. This is his baby, but whether he'll actually be up for it or not, I don't know, because now he's actually had surgery. Okay, and I've got other stuff going on, but that's enough. You got what's going on this weekend and into next week. And thank you so much for joining me. My love to you all, and I will see you next time. Thanks very much, everybody. Keep the light strong.